Hey guys, so today I'm gonna do a video on Smokey Eye. I have another video that is more of a natural smoky eye, but I want to do something a little bit more dramatic for anybody who's wanting to amp it up a bit, do something for nighttime, or like party events, whatnot. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I want to do this fairly quickly. So the palette that I'm going to be using today is the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani. It's a bit of an older palette, but if you see, like, the idea of it is there's lots of really nice matte browns. There's some really nice neutral tones in there too. There's this color called Punk, which is really pretty. It's kind of like an auburn, like a really deep plum color. And I really like to incorporate that into my smoky eyes because I find that they really make the eyes pop, even if you're using more neutral colors, to incorporate something that has a little bit of a plum effect, even for brown eyes. I really like to use that as kind of like my secret go-to color. So I'm actually gonna start with that. So the first tool I'm gonna use is a really kind of like short and dense blending brush. So I'm gonna use Punk, which is that kind of plummy color. And I'm going to apply that right in my crease. You can see that it goes on really dark, but we're gonna blend the crap out of this, so it's not gonna be as dark as it looks when it's applied. And again, blending is really key. So like, it looks like really ridiculous, but I'm gonna just use a clean blending brush, and I'm gonna go in and just blend the crap out of that. And you can see when you end up using a clean brush, it ends up picking up a little bit of the product as well. So it really does help that color just sink right into your skin. And because we're gonna do a really deep smoky eye, I'm gonna kind of go into the inside of my eye too. So you can see I'm kind of creating a bit more drama with this color. We're gonna be adding other colors, so don't worry if it looks scary right now, because once we add our browns and our nudes, it'll all kind of come together. Yeah, I look scary. Don't worry, I promise. This is why when I'm doing people's makeup and they want to look halfway through, like imagine you were getting your makeup done and this is what you saw when you looked in the mirror, you would be like, what the heck is this lady doing? Okay, so now I'm gonna take like a light brown matte color with that same fluffy brush, and I'm gonna apply that to the outside. Okay. Now with just like a flat eyeshadow brush, I'm gonna use a really nice light, the one I'm gonna use is this one here. It's called Danger. It's like a very neutral color. You'll see, and I'm gonna put that on my whole lid. And the other thing you could do with something like this is do like a cut crease. I'm not a huge fan of doing cut creases. Just because it's like a very stark look. Oh no, my little guy's starting to wake up. So all of the shadow I've been applying is the same color. I'm just using it on the inside, coming into the center of my eye. I'm not going past that point. All right, now with a different clean brush, I'm just gonna use a lighter neutral tone in under my brow, just to kind of blend in all of this color up under my brow. All right, I'm gonna go back in with my dense brush, and I'm gonna use just like a nice dark brown. And I'm just gonna put that right on the outside. So in my lash line, and then just on the outside of my crease here. And this is also why I like to do my eyes first and my foundation afterwards, because you can kind of clean up all of the mess with your foundation. Okay, so I just put it on the outside. You can see exactly where I put it. I'm gonna take my blending brush again, and I'm just blending on the outside. Okay, so one of the things I'm gonna use is like a really light color. Actually, what I can use is, so I'm gonna use my Kristen Leanne palette. You can tell which one I use the most. I'm gonna use a little bit of this just on the inside of my eye, because it's gonna help to really brighten it up a little bit. You can see it adds a little bit of dimension and shine. I want to keep most of my eye matte, but just adding a little bit of this guy. And then just underneath my brow. Now obviously my brows are not done. Let's see. Yeah. So again, with just that neutral matte color, I'm just gonna go in and lighten up my eye a little bit more. And then just my blending brush, just to kind of blend out any lines. And that's the thing when it comes to eyeshadow, like it's not, doesn't always have to be such a, like a black and white application. Sometimes it ends up being really nice when you add in a couple additional colors. And don't be afraid to go back in if you feel like you need to. Okay, so with my dense brush here, I'm just gonna pull some of this color underneath my eye. Obviously I'm gonna do my foundation and clean up everything, but just to kind of even everything out. Because this is a smoky eye, I'm gonna add some liner. All right, so I'm gonna do some foundation. So I'm using my two Inglot foundations. I always like to use a darker and a lighter because, again, I find it gives a little bit more I like the way that it adds color to my skin, because I like to have a little bit of depth with some of the darker shades, but I'm not like super tanned or anything. And I think I've talked about beauty blenders before, but honestly, beauty blenders are amazing. They really apply your foundation really nicely over all of your skin, and they just blend in really, really well. Sorry. So the nice thing about this is that I didn't have to actually clean up too much around my eyes. You can see I still have like a lot of that depth from my shadow. And if you ever apply foundation and you find that it's too dark, you just go in with a light foundation and just apply it like in the center of your forehead, around your cheek and nose area. So for example, if you were like, oh my gosh, this is way too dark, what do I do? Just take a lighter color, just apply a little bit to your cheeks, forehead, down the center of your face, around your eyes. If you're not applying concealer, like I didn't put concealer on. I'm not a huge fan of concealer. I actually prefer to see if I can get away without doing concealer, just because I find concealers to be really thick. So if I can get away with doing a concealer, I will. So I just applied that really light foundation. It was just like a porcelain into the center of my face. So like my forehead, down my nose, under my eyes, up into my temples, above my cheeks. And then you can also blend it out into your neck. Always, always blend your neck. I just put a little bit of foundation over top of my shadow here, so I'm just gonna blend my shadow out a little bit more. And it's okay to touch your face too. Like sometimes I find when I touch my face with my foundation, it just kind of like melts everything into my face. Okay, then I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna use, this is an older palette, but it's an Arbonne palette. It's great because it has a matte bronzer, a shimmery bronzer, and 2 highlight colors. They actually, Arbonne just came out with 2 new eyeshadow palettes and a contour palette like this as well, which are amazing. I don't have them, but I've seen them and the colors are fantastic. So obviously if you're doing a smoky eye for an event or whatnot. The idea is that you're kind of applying a little bit more makeup than maybe you would on a normal day-to-day. So doing a little bit more contour is definitely okay in this case. I always like to blend my bronzer up into my hairline. And especially because like I have a shaved head, so like my hairline, my head looks white, like pale. So I kind of put my product into my hair a little bit just to kind of blend everything properly. And then if you're gonna go in and do a little bit more of a dense contour, you can take a different shade of bronzer. I'm just gonna use this one that has a little bit of like a shimmer bronziness to it with a smaller, denser brush. And just right from the temple down underneath the cheekbone, I'm just gonna apply a little bit of that just more directly, because then it creates a little bit more of that intense definition in your cheek. And you just kind of want to blend it out. You can blend it with the same brush or a different brush as well. And you can kind of blend that up into your hairline too. And you can contour your nose. Just make sure when you contour your nose that you're blending a lot, because you don't want your nose to look dirty in any way. That wouldn't be good. I know some girls contour like that. And the whole idea of contour is that you're trying to create a little bit more of this hollow effect to your face, so that your face looks a little bit more slender or defined, I should say. Okay, now I'm gonna use, so I have this Makeup Forever highlight, which is really pretty. I like to use this kind of fluffy brush. It's a MAC brush. I think it's 100, number 100. I can't actually see the number anymore. So our highlight, we're just gonna apply around the temple here. And my skin gets really dry around this area, so that's why I kind of stipple it in as opposed to like rubbing. And then we're gonna put a little bit on the nose, and just with your finger, you can put a little bit on your Cupid's bow. I really like how that looks. Even if I'm just doing a gloss, having a little bit of shine there is really pretty. Okay. All right, so now, because this is a smoky eye, I'm gonna do a black liner. I'm just using the L'Oreal Paris Voluminous Smolding Eyeliner. It's like a nice thick liner like this. So I'm just gonna apply it underneath my eye. And I try not to pull too much, because it's not good to pull your eyes. If you don't like using black though, you can totally use other colors. I also like doing underneath, because I'm gonna do my mascara. And I find that doing this underneath my eye just gives a little bit more dimension. And I know it's kind of hard and scary looking, but I'm not actually poking my eye. It's like the waterline under my eye. The other thing you can do too is do a little bit of black on top. I'm not a huge fan of doing pencil or anything on top unless it's liquid, but for the sake of the smoky eye look, I will do a little bit. And the idea is that you really want to just get it as close as you can to your waterline. And I'm not gonna go too far in. What I'll do is I'll just take like a flat brush like this and just kind of blend that out. Okay. Now we're gonna do some mascara, and then I gotta do my brows too. It's amazing how a whole look like this can look great, but without my brows on, it actually kind of looks scary. All right, so lashes. Again, I'm using my Arbonne It's a Long Story Lash mascara, which is my favorite. I think it's my favorite because it lengthens, it thickens, it can give me like a nice natural everyday look. If I apply a little bit more, if I do a couple layers, it gives me like a really nice dramatic look. The other thing you could do to add to this look too is put on fake lashes. I'm not gonna do that today because I'm already gonna look crazy overdone going to get my kid from school. All right, so for my brows, I'm just gonna use the Double Down Brow Duo from Arbonne, not from Arbonne, from Urban Decay. It's a waterproof pencil, it's a waterproof powder. I'm gonna use an angle brush. So I'm gonna do the darker powder like underneath and on the outside, and then the lighter powder I'm gonna do on the inside. Please don't mind my nails, I need to get them done. And you'll see how brows make such a huge difference. Even if you're just adding like a tiny bit of powder. Okay, and then this is the lighter color. One side and the other side. And again, this is a look that you can create really with any colors, but it's nice to kind of see the progress of a smoky eye and how it doesn't always look perfect at the beginning. It's a process. And you just kind of got to work with it. And to be honest with you, blending is key. Because all you need to do is blend like crazy and you can get a really great combination of colors together. Even if they looked kind of silly at the beginning, you can blend them out. There's been times when I've applied like 5 different colors to my eyes because I couldn't decide, and I would put on one color and it wouldn't look that great, and then I decided to put on another color, and then at the end of it, because of all the blending, it looked so good after. Now obviously that's a little bit advanced, but what I'm trying to get at is that don't be afraid to experiment with your smoky eye using different colors and stuff. Oops. All right, the last thing I need is a little bit of blush. So if you don't like to use blush, that's totally fine. I find sometimes what happens is people who don't like to use blush will put bronzer kind of everywhere, when really you want to keep your bronzer or that darker color more in this area here. When you start putting bronzer everywhere, it tends to look a little bit muddy. That's why even if you used like a darker shade of pink, they have, lots of companies have different colors and tones of blushes. And if you've ever seen like a brown blush, or more of like a bronzy type blush, those are really great blushes to use that aren't pink, to put in the apples of your cheeks, just to kind of create that fullness to your face. So I'm just gonna use my my NYX Sweet Cheeks palette, and this color here is kind of more of that like a toned down pink. I like pink cheeks, but it's not for everybody. But blush changes a person's face so much. Like I've been, there was a time, like anytime I've done mentoring for makeup applications, and the girls don't apply blush to their client, I can tell right away. And as soon as I put blush on, they're like, oh my gosh, it looks so good. Like it just adds just that little bit of freshness to the skin. Even if you are in a rush, you don't have a whole lot of time to do a whole lot, you just put like a BB cream on, just do a little bit of blush, because it makes you look so much more alive. All right, and of course I don't have any lip stuff with me because I never have lip stuff with me. Hold on. Okay, I have a chapstick. Even a chapstick will intensify your look because it has a little bit of like a sheen to it. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know my lips are crazy dry. So if you don't have lipstick or lip gloss, but all you have is your like eyeshadow palette or your highlighter palette or whatever, and some chapstick, if you put chapstick on and then you use a little bit of your, where's my highlight? A little bit of your highlight, even just with your finger, okay, that was a lot, but you can see how it adds a little bit more like shimmer and sparkle to my lips. All right, there you are, my friends. This is my smoky eye. I hope that you like it. I hope that you got some tips from this. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, I would love for you to subscribe for me to be able to take your comments, like my videos, and request any type of tutorials that you're looking for me to do, and suggestions. Have a great day, guys. See ya.